Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for downloading another episode of the Retro Gamers. Happy 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
What's going on, Ant? Happy 4th.
Happy 4th. Happy Steve Rogers Day.
Oh, yeah. Took me a moment. Captain America, yes.
Yes. You know, everybody out there, I hope you're enjoying your Independence Day, or Steve Rogers Day, or Punch a Nazi Day, whichever you prefer.
All of the above works for me.
Yeah.
So barbecues happening galore here. Fireworks freaking everybody out. It's a good time. Good time to be living. Got any plans for the 4th? Or did you do anything for the 4th, depending on when this drops?
Well, I was hoping this was dropping on the 4th. So when this drops, I will be in the midst of barbecuing. Good, yes, I'll be at. I have a couple of barbecues to attend. I'm a popular human being now. I don't know why or how, but that is now the case. As you get older, you get more friends. Somewhere around middle age, and then as you get much older, you lose a lot of friends and then become lonely. So enjoy the time while you have it.
Woohoo! Can't wait. Now, before we get into this week's subjects and everything like that, I gotta say, the last, I just happened to stumble across all my stuff. I've been going big time with the handhelds. I posted up my collection of Game Boys on the Instagram page, Instagram / at the _ retro gamers. I haven't started drinking yet. And I found my my 3DS games. Found them. Thank God.
Yes, congratulations.
Oh, you have no idea what that did. That's probably why I started playing everything. And then, as some people already saw, I upgraded or updated my new Nintendo 3DS for a little retro look to it with the Super Nintendo skin.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I like that. And even the color scheme on the inside as well, with the buttons and everything. Ooh. So, very, very sweet. I broke it all out. Game Boy Micro, my SpongeBob SquarePants, SP, and I'm just going to stop playing everything. I know some games I've already got rid of because it was a time when I figured I'm going to go all digital, and then this podcast started happening. So,
yep, I ruined that for you. Didn't
I? You did, because now I want a lot of those games back. Oh well,
regrets. You know what? I think there's something to be said about retro shopping because it's just kind of fun to go into a store and walk around and see a bunch of stuff that you used to own that now you have to buy back again. But still, things that you used to own or games that you always wanted to play that you never did, and now you're a grown-up and can afford to buy them or afford to put yourself in debt and buy them, depending on what you prefer.
Little column A, little column B. So with barbecues galore, everyone go out there while you're out there with your barbecues, with your parties. Play some games. Now's the time to get those group games going. The Mario parties we were talking about, the Smash Brothers we were talking about. Play to your heart's content, but don't play too much, people, because it could lead to possible issues.
Oh, yes, it can. So, and on that note, I don't know. I thought this was an interesting topic to discuss this week, and maybe it's a little bit more of a serious topic, but still worth discussing. But recently, the World Health Organization came out and made it official that there is such a thing as video game addiction. They've actually now classified it as an official disease. So I thought this was worth bringing up because there's already some controversy about it. Because can you consider playing too many video games for too much for too long or whatever, is that considered an actual disease?
You're right. It is. I think it can go either way. I know a lot of American psychiatrists are not really buying into this, that it's a disease. You're right. At what point does either a hobby become an addiction? I mean, look, we've all had those games where we just played hours on end. You just get sucked into it. You can't help it. Having a good time. Where is the line drawn? You hear a lot of these stories, usually from, and I'm not trying to be funny about it, usually from South Korea or Japan or one of these countries over there, where you got these people who are playing 3 days in a row nonstop. That's an issue. That's a problem. But is it, are those just one-offs? Are those just a very select few who just don't know how to quit? I mean, do you compare this to alcoholism, drug addiction? I mean, I guess WHO is. That's my concern. My concern is, where does the line cross? Because if that's the case, then I was addicted to GoldenEye, I was addicted to Mario. We all at some point were addicted to some game.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has those games that you go through where that happens. I mean, I can give a pseudo decent example, and not one that would classify as a disease. But last week when I got back from my latest trip to Japan, I had just basically concluded 5 weeks of traveling to multiple time zones, and I was utterly exhausted. I got sick after coming back, and I went to work a little bit, but for the most part of last week, I was home a lot, mostly because jet lag was killing me, and I got sick, and I was home for a good chunk of the weekend, and I spent most of my time playing Friday the 13th on my Xbox One. Now, Friday the 13th is a multiplayer online game. But I had gotten to a point where literally I was like, I was waking up in the morning and immediately turning it on and playing, and then going to work, and then coming home, turning it on, make dinner, sit down in my recliner, play while eating, finish eating, keep playing until I got tired and fell asleep. And then for the moments where I wasn't playing it, like, if there was if I stopped playing and I was like, okay, I should do something else, I couldn't think of anything else to do, so then I just started playing it again. Now, I probably clocked a good, 20 plus hours of just playing Friday the 13th last week. I did take an hour and a half break to watch Friday the 13th Part 4 on DVD because I kept, because one of the boards in the game is the Tommy Jarvis's house from Friday the 13th Part 4. And I was just like, well, now I want to just watch the movie. So then I watched the movie and then went back. So
now you're researching.
Yeah, basically I'm researching so that when I go back and play the game, I've got the map laid out automatically from the film.
All right, maybe we have maybe this should be in the pro column.
No, maybe. So I watched the movie, and then as soon as I was done with the movie, I went back to playing until I fell asleep. That's that's not an example of an addiction, because obviously, if I was addicted, we wouldn't be recording this podcast. I'd probably be playing it now. I'd be missing work, because the whole idea about a disorder is that it's actually affecting all aspects of your life. So people are not going to work. They're not going to school. They're giving up their social lives to just basically sit at home and game. And that's where I think it becomes a classification of if it's a disease. So
correct. And you got your functioning alcoholics. You may have now your functioning gamers, who you won't know is if they're having issues. But there is a kind of a looking here through the Washington Post, and this was is actually from July 2nd. Is this article, and it looks like the APA, not who I'm thinking, the American Psychiatric Association, kind of lays out almost guidelines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9 guidelines, if you will. I guess how it could, if it follows these, could become quote unquote a disease. I say quote unquote because again, the APA is kind of still up in the air about it. You have your preoccupation or obsession with internet games. All right, I've been, how many of us have played Candy Crush? Odds on end, spending money on it. Withdrawal symptoms when not playing games. I don't know who's jonesing. A tolerance for gaming so that a person needs to spend more time playing to be satisfied. We'll see.
Interesting.
At least one failed attempt to stop or cut back on playing games. I have a failed attempt on continuing to play games. A loss of
interest. Yes, you do. But you never go back.
This is true. A loss of interest in other life activities. I've never been interested to begin with. Let's see. Overuse of digital games, despite realizing the impairment they have caused. Don't even know what that means. Lying to others about game usage. All right. So, I get, albeit wrong, I get it. People hiding drug use, alcohol abuse, whatever else. It'd just be weird. Like, I didn't play the PlayStation. Not me. I don't get it. I don't get it. Me, I don't get it. That's the whole thing. Also, there's a lot of some disorders I can't wrap my head around. Some of which I probably have. Using gaming to escape or relieve anxiety or guilt. I think that's what gaming is, period.
No, it's not.
I think so. I know to just get away
so.
for a little while. I think so. That Tetris. They did a whole study about it. PTSD. Maybe not guilt, but anxiety. And yeah,
go ahead, finish.
I was gonna say the final one: relationships that have been lost or risked because of gaming. Yes, I almost choked my roommate in college because he wouldn't stop playing a game. So I guess that could count. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that definitely can. And we've had I've definitely had my issues while gaming in terms of letting my emotions take over.
Yes, we've all heard the stories. The controller toss, yes.
Yes, the controller. Well, people need to stop triple teaming me. I will never get over it.
As soon as you found out that trick, you just hit the analog and you always kicked out every time. Forget about it.
Oh man!
So
but, that is true.
Look, again, it's usually it's for me. It's hard for me sometimes, like I said, to wrap my head around something like this. Gaming being a disorder. I see worst issues. I can see drugs being a disorder, alcoholism being a disorder, gambling. Good Lord knows I know that being a disorder. I don't know. I just don't see gaming. Short of, like I said, those stories you hear from like. In the, these other countries where, you'll have a handful of people who play 90 hours and then pass out because, they can't stop playing WoW or something like that.
I think like World of Warcraft and games like that, where people play campaigns. And I've had friends who've like literally played 14, 16, 18 hours straight of games like World of Warcraft.
I watched a friend of ours play for 4 hours. I watched them play. And I watched. I didn't even play. I just watched.
Yeah. And, that says something else, because forget about gaming. Now you're talking about watching people gaming, but to me that's a different story. That's just like going to the movies or watching binging a TV show, which and to be honest with you, like we're becoming that type of society where like binging is encouraged, whether it's gaming or TV watching or something like that. So this almost opens the door to another question. It's like, if I binge watch something on Netflix for 18 hours, like, am I developing, a binge disorder? Mm-hmm. Same thing here. Now, I do agree. Like, I know you're saying like you don't agree with this. I kind of agree that this can become a disease when you're equating it with the list that they have here. Like, if you have a certain number of these, I do think it becomes an issue. So, for example. Alcoholics will use alcohol to escape or relieve anxiety or guilt, and they'll drink in excess of it, right? That becomes an issue. I feel like if you're sitting there and gaming for the same purpose, like in other words, you're really depressed, you don't know how to deal with your depression, so you're using something else to cope. You use a coping mechanism. Now, if the coping mechanism is causing you harm, then yes, I do think it can be a disease. So in other words, if you're gaming excessively to the point where it's affecting your health, then yes, I do think it's a problem.
All right. I mean, and also, does it become a point of just maybe there's just, let's face facts. Sometimes we're starting to head into a society where social interaction is becoming almost nil. The days of meeting your significant other in a bar or being set up by a friend is almost gone, where now you just go online, you go on an app, you swipe a couple of times, maybe you'll find someone, maybe it's a match, who knows. Ordering all your food can be delivered. Meals can be delivered. Downloading instant content. There's almost no need. We're heading for Wall-E, people. We're heading for the world of Wall-E. And is it maybe just this is the next step where people now just, the interaction of going out, playing a game of basketball is now becoming, let's all just get online and play NBA 2K19.
Yeah, ultimately, like it is kind of where we are headed, which is scary as hell. But we just have to be. It's the whole thing about anything. You have to be cognizant of it because, again, I mean, eating too much is a disorder. There are so many things that it ultimately comes down to. These things are bad for your health. It's up to us as humans, obviously, to control. Control these, I guess, negative, I can't think of the word that I'm trying to say, like developing negative routines,
Gotcha.
Ultimately. I can understand how things like this can harm you. I've never been in a situation where I've gamed to the point where it's affecting my health, but like I said, I can envision other people who do,
mm-hmm.
and like I said, somebody who's gaming 18 hours a day, 20 hours a day, they're not going to have time for a job. They're not going to have time to take care of themselves. So I do think that it can be a disorder.
Absolutely. And then also on the flip side of it, how can I put this delicately? And I will. Is it possible that just maybe there's more to it for these particular individuals? They may need to seek more help for themselves, where it's maybe more of a mental situation, like a mental disease, as opposed to just call it gaming. Almost like the outcry of gaming and violence, which I still don't put two and two together on that one, because we grew up in the era of Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry, and I don't know anyone tried dropping a piano or an anvil on somebody. So maybe. I don't know. Maybe these particular individuals just have other deeper issues that need to be, which in today's day and age we do need to sort out more with maybe more mental health as opposed to just sticking a label for gaming.
Well, but you have to understand something. Like the reason why the World Health Organization is coming out and categorizing it as a disorder or a disease is, I think, to take that next step so people can get the help they need and for it to be covered by insurance. Because you can't go to your doctor or you can't go to a psychiatrist and say, I have a gaming addiction, and actually get it covered by your insurance. It has to be categorized as an official disease. So I think that's what the World Health Organization is trying to do. So, a lot of insurance plans come with they come with mental health. They come with 30-day inpatient, outpatient rehab type of things for stuff like drug addiction and alcohol addiction and whatnot. Now, basically, the World Health Organization is saying that we may want to start considering, excessive gaming as a similar disease that warrants that type of treatment.
Okay. I mean, definitely, this is definitely open to discussion.
Did you know, Larry, that there were actually video game rehab facilities in the country?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I really did not know that.
Yeah, no, there are actual rehab facilities out there to help people with these problems. So, it's the whole idea of, it's definitely a problem. I mean, we can debate whether or not it's a disease, but the other issue is there are people who have experienced, physical problems from excessive gaming, or they've at least attributed it to it, such as excessive headaches, neck or back pain, insomnia,
I get
general
that.
sadness, general sadness and depression. I mean, there are actual things, because if you think, when you think about, especially MMORPGs, which are multiplayer online role playing games, people get so invested in their characters and their campaigns and things like that it actually does them, like, I don't know, like it gives them mental duress if something happens to their character or if they lose things, you know.
It gives them an identity. It's almost like their second life without being the game second life. Yeah,
exactly. So so these things have like a serious effect on people, which is just crazy. I mean, to the point where there's a website called Gamers Anonymous, and you can go to that if you feel like you're suffering from some type of gaming disorder, and there's a hotline that you can call. So, this isn't something that's just necessarily popped up out of the blue, but it's just interesting that it's progressed to the point that the World Health Organization is taking a serious stand on it now, and classifying it as a disease.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, it's going to lead to, I guess those who just completely engulf themselves into this world of gaming. Look, we love video games, me and you. That's why we do this podcast, and we're almost at episode 100 of the official episodes. You go to Japan, you go to Super Potato. I'm out here on Long Island. I go to Game On, but we have other aspects in our lives that we're able to get to. Now, granted, I have two: video games and wrestling. So, I'm waiting for the the wrestling one to come out, and that one I may have to join. But with this one,
that may already exist.
Yeah, probably. But with this, it's I can see it from both sides. I'm when it comes to stuff like this. Look, I'm going to be honest. Sometimes I'm a when I say skeptic, because I can't wrap my head around it. How this could be a disease or something. I'm not saying that it's not. It's just for me personally. Like I get drug disease, I get alcohol, stuff like that. To me, it's just like I said, like with video games and violence or cartoons and violence. I don't see the connection with it, but there are people out there who have trouble separating themselves. And for those, I think this is a start to help them get in the right direction.
Yes, I agree. And just, normally we don't tackle serious subjects like this on our podcast.
Yeah, unless Josh is on and he throws it at us.
Yeah, well, exactly. Josh would throw that. And actually, this would have been a perfect segment for Josh to join us. So, Josh, we're sorry we didn't include you on this one. But maybe it's something also to share on Victims and Villains.
Yes.
As well.
And we better get credit for it.
Yeah, we should totally we should get credit for pointing out people's, obsession with video games.
Egos
being
anonymous.
A disease. Yes. So, but just, to sum this up, whether or not you believe that excessive gaming is a disease or not, or gaming addiction is a disease or not, for anybody out there who happens to be listening or may know somebody who might be suffering from gaming addiction, you can go to Gamers Anonymous website, which is olganon.org. So that's olganon.org to make it a little simpler.
See, I'm reading it as olganon.org. Maybe I do have this thing.
Yeah, see? It could be Olganon.
Olganon.org.
Olganon, because you're obsessed with Zelda. Or there's an actual
Spanish Zelda.
Exactly. That would be Elganon. But seriously, if you do have a problem, there's also a hotline you can call for Gamers Anonymous. That number is 612-245-1115. Again, that's 612-245-1115. And I really hope that anybody listening doesn't have a gaming addiction or know anybody with a gaming addiction, because let's face it, all addictions are generally bad. So, hopefully our listeners are not that way, but if you are, there are places where you can get help. And if you need more information, check out that website, call the number Gamers Anonymous, and get the help that you need. All right, Larry, let's lighten things up a little bit now, because I started getting depressed talking about the gaming addiction.
Works for me.
All right, and let's go with this week's mini segment is a Did You Know segment.
All right.
So, did you know that Nintendo's flagship character Mario was almost in a Sega game before the console wars of the 90s started?
Really?
Yeah. So apparently, Sega Master System's response to Mario was a character named Alex Kidd, right?
Yes, great game.
Yes, excellent game. And there was a game called Alex Kidd in Shinobi World.
Mm-hmm.
And in that game, one of the end-level bosses was actually based on Mario himself. So in a prototype version of the game, he has a mustache, and his name is Mario, and it was spelled Mari-OH.
Mario.
And it was also a reference to Ken-O, who was the first boss in the original Shinobi game. So the idea was they were actually trying to get Mario as a boss, and I don't know if it was super serious or a play on it. Obviously, it did not happen, but it almost did, because they actually did put it into a prototype version of the game. It just never got released. And that is this week's Did You Know? All right, Larry. So this week, I thought we can report on some retro news. I feel like we're starting to do this a little more regularly on our show, and I really like the segment because it's nice to hear more and more news coming out about retro gaming. I don't know about you.
No, absolutely. You know, it keeps it all fresh. It keeps something that's old new, and a lot of times, a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's a lot of stuff that I feel like people may not know about. It's not necessarily the big news. Like, in other words, the NES Classic coming out, or the I don't know, the crappy Genesis one from At Games and stuff like that.
Gotta be more specific.
Yeah, exactly. So it's nice to kind of, and for some of these you have to like scour the internet to find them, because they're not like big announcements made or anything like that.
Yeah.
For example, like, the big retro news I think coming out of E3 was probably the Polymega making an appearance there.
Yes. Can't wait.
So, yeah, me too. I'm really excited specifically about the disc portion of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the disc portion of that is definitely the reason why I'm interested in the Polymega. But like I said, aside from like the big stuff like E3 and things like that, you really gotta search the internet a little bit more to find some of these things. For example, there are a lot of Kickstarter campaigns out there for retro gaming now. I'm still waiting. I'm waiting until the fall for my NES Maker to come out, because that Kickstarter was ridiculously successful. But there is currently a Kickstarter, and one of the things we've been finding recently are books. Like, there've been a lot of compilation books coming out, like the
that N64 one was cool.
Yeah, the N64 one is definitely one of my favorites. The Nintendo 64 Anthology, and also the one I picked up from Pat the NES Punk, the guide to the NES library.
You mean the one that,
really cool.
that I'm in?
Yeah, the one that your name is in the credits there.
Absolutely.
So you've now joined me. Your name is in a published work.
I've also been on television. Thank you.
So have I, multiple times.
I was on a world-renowned children's show.
I was on WWE programming many times over, including WrestleMania.
I was on... Oh, you were? Damn it. Okay.
Yeah,
Took me a moment. I forgot about that.
You can't top that.
Yeah, figures the 1 year I didn't go. All right. So what do we got happening on Kickstarter? Because I don't want to relive this.
Yes, okay. So happening on Kickstarter, you didn't even let me talk about the game show that I was on.
Matolov cocktail? Yes, how can I forget?
Hey, you know what? I'm the one that walked away with money, not my opponent.
You didn't have to bat 1,000.
I didn't have to bat 1,000 to beat her.
What was the question you got out on 1 versus 100?
Oh my god, it was a music question. It was something about the Sex Pistols.
Yes, that's right. I forgot about. Okay.
Yes. But anyway, enough of memory lane. Getting back to Kickstarter. So there's a new book up on Kickstarter that's trying to raise money, and it is the Sega Master System Visual Compendium.
Ooh, Visual Compendium.
Yes, it's a visual compendium series.
One moment here. Dictionary.com compendium.
Got it?
It's taking a moment. So this sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. So the company who's working on this is called Bitmap Books. Okay. Mm-hmm. They are located, I believe, overseas, over in Europe. So They actually already did an NES and an SNES compendium.
Okay.
And now a visual compendium, and now they're working on a Sega Master System one. So this is really interesting.
Yeah.
Because they actually produced. I'm sorry, they actually produced a Neo Geo book as well, an official Neo Geo.
Ooh,
book.
really? I got to check that out.
Mm-hmm. So the Kickstarter right now, the goal is they're trying to raise 50,000 euro.
Okay.
Which is a lot more in American dollars. They are currently they've definitely exceeded it. It comes up in American dollars for me. So the actual amount they were looking for was over $65,000.
Oh wow!
They are currently at $78,000. So
this
Kickstarter is good to go.
How many days left?
There are 27 days to go
as of this recording. Okay.
As of this recording. And if and it's not uber expensive. So for $33, you get a soft cover copy of the book. And not only do you get the soft cover copy, it comes with a bookmark, a PDF of the book as well.
Oh, cool.
Your name in the book and a pair of 3D glasses.
Really? That's cool.
Yep. So there will be 3D pages in the book,
just like the old Nintendo Power when the Virtual Boy was coming out.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. How did that help sales? Right, that's exactly right, Larry. Nothing.
Listen, it got me to buy one.
Okay, now for an extra $6, for $39, you can actually get a hardcover version of the book and everything else that I mentioned.
Gotcha.
If and then or if you want for $39, you can get the soft cover book, and they add in a pack of 5 box art postcards.
Oh, cool.
So if you don't care about the hardcover, for $46, you can get the hardcover book with the postcards as well, and so on and so forth. There are other levels. You get posters. You get like a blueprint poster, T-shirts, all kinds of stuff.
Man.
Yeah, so definitely worth checking out. I actually may be putting money down for the hardcover version of this because you know how much I love my hardcover video game book collection.
You love that physical print still.
I do. You know what? I mean, I'm an old man. I'm a young old man. I have a master's degree in English, so I think by law I have to buy books, like physical books.
I feel like at almost 100 episodes, everyone assumed that you're the one with the English degree as opposed to me.
I would hope so, based on the way we both speak. But sometimes you never know. So anybody who loves the Sega Master System can go on to Kickstarter and check out the visual compendium. And hey, you know what? Buy yourself a copy.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Because it's definitely getting made.
I may go PDF, but still.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So that was the first bit of retro news that I had. Larry, I know that you found yourself some retro news as well. So let's do a little back and forth.
I did. Now, this one's retro news, but also at the same time, it's kind of like what is this all about? Nintendo is, again, going out there and trademarking the heck out of stuff because a bunch of trademarks have been made on GameCubes and the GameCube itself. Very, very, very much in the rumor mill as to why all of a sudden Nintendo is now interested in the GameCube. But 3 years ago, it was the NES. 2 years ago, it was the SNES. Last year into this year, it's been the Game Boy N64. I mean, do we get a GameCube Mini? The GameCube was already mini, so who knows? But
yeah, and it had a handle. So
it did, which
carry it around.
Which is still very funny. I think I've used that handle twice. Once to take it out of the box, and once to move it.
That sounds about right.
That was about it.
I will say every time I move it, I do use the handle, so it does serve its purpose.
Now, some people can say this is probably just related to the fact that in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, you'll be able to use a GameCube controller, an original GameCube controller, that Nintendo will put out the adapter where you'll be able to play that. But, again, GameCube Mini, who knows? But Nintendo's definitely now got its eye on the GameCube, and with the lack of possible virtual console on the Switch, besides the little bit we're going to get when the online system comes out, it's very interesting to see what Nintendo has up their sleeve when it comes to the GameCube. A system I think should have gotten a little more love than it probably has gotten.
Yeah, well, the biggest problem with the GameCube was that it literally had like no third-party support, and that just killed it.
It did, but listen, it had Baldur's Gate.
Yes, it did have Baldur's Gate. Thank the gods. Hi, Frank.
Exactly. So,
but aside from that, but like I said, it had very little third party support. I honestly think they're only trademarking it because of the fact that they're making controllers for the Switch.
Probably.
That's my guess. They've got a Game Boy Classic to make, like you said, an N64 Classic to make. They just re-released the NES Classic. For people to buy because they didn't make enough of the damn things. I think we got a ways to go before a GameCube Classic comes out.
I would love to see, with Super Mario Party coming out, just a giant compilation of Mario Party 1 through 10 on the Switch.
Oh, man, that would be amazing.
Imagine. Oh.
Yep. I would never stop playing it. I'd be a gaming addict.
There you go. You'd have to join Who.
That is correct. Who?
Who? Oh,
Doctor Who?
Wrong podcast.
So, sorry. All right. Well, moving on.
What do you got on your end?
Moving on from that. Well, to stick with the minis, I just wanted to bring this bit of news up. So about a couple months ago, I had brought up on the podcast that there was a new Famicom Mini coming out, and it's a gold-colored Famicom Mini specifically being made to celebrate the 50th anniversary of manga. And all the games on it are manga related. So the reason why I'm bringing it up again is because the release date for this gold mini Famicom Mini is this week, July 7th.
Really?
Yes. So it comes out on July 7th. As far as I know, it will be available in Japan only for a price of 7,980 yen, which comes out to $73.
Oh, okay.
73 American dollars. And yeah, so it comes out July 7th. I am happy to announce that thanks to somebody I know in Japan, she was able to pre-order it for me.
Really?
So I will be getting my hands on a gold manga-themed Famicom Mini.
That is awesome. Now, did I hear you say you had 2 of them pre-ordered?
You heard me say 1.
Okay.
And 1 only.
Just checking. No, that's actually really cool. Now, I did hear about this before, but is it just the same system? Like, are they changing anything else besides that really cool gold color to it?
Well, no. All of the games on it are manga-themed games. So none of the games from the actual regular Famicom Mini are on it.
So it's a whole new series of games.
It's a whole new series of games. It
features
It features 20 Famicom games that were based on manga, specifically Weekly Jump manga. So I don't know what Weekly Jump is per se, but they were all manga-themed games.
All right. Well, that's cool. Definitely let us know how that is.
I'll definitely let you know how it is. What I'm afraid of is that I'm going to turn it on and they're going to be all like manga RPG games that I can't play because I can't read it.
This is going to be for for display purposes only. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah, probably that is what it will be. I mean, I will try my best to play them, and maybe when I get it, I'll live stream some of it because it'll be hysterical just trying to figure out the menus.
Yeah, right.
But we'll see what happens. But yes, the gold-colored Famicom Mini. So if anybody out there is a manga lover, I don't know if any of them, if you're going to be able to get your hands on them. From what my friend over there told me, she got lucky to get one of the last pre-orders. So apparently this thing's already hot. So,
all right. Cool.
We'll see what happens.
Be on the lookout there, Japan.
Yep. Cool. All right, back to you.
Volley. So, we're starting now to get into not only home brews of games, but now people are making their own home adapters, their own peripherals, if you will, mostly for the Switch. Last week I talked about this thing called the Flip Grip that lets you play those arcade games that they're been releasing on the Switch in their original 90 degrees where you can rotate the screen and get pretty much the full aspect of the screen.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it gives it almost the original dimensions, and you don't get a lot of that wasted space on the TV. It's on Kickstarter. It should still. It's like $12, $15. Well worth it.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah, there's another person here who is making this adapter, if you will. It's called the Joy Boy. It's a hardware concept, and it could help the Virtual Console get a little bit of a kick. It almost looks, the way I can describe it, is it looks like a Nintendo 2DS, the top half of the original Nintendo 2DS, the ones that didn't fold, and then you can just attach a Joy-Con controller to the bottom of it. So basically, you have a screen on top of your Joy-Con.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's about as easy and simple as you can get with it. Now,
well, yeah, and it definitely does look like it looks like a Game Boy with a wider screen.
Basically. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, again, as far as the Virtual Console on the Switch, there's been very little talk about the massiveness of what could be a Virtual Console on there, besides, again, the games we're going to get with the system when it comes out. Possibly, though, this thing may have a Raspberry Pi adapter where you just throw a memory card in there, you got your emulators. Who knows where it's going to come about. This is right now just a concept, just an idea, a really good idea, I think, especially if Nintendo will put out some sort of Virtual Console.
Yeah, no, and it'll be very interesting. Well, it'll also be very interesting to see if Nintendo goes after them for trying to use their hardware to make their own hardware.
I think it's more the... Oh, yeah, you're right, because I was going to say, because the screen itself would have to be some sort of hardware. But again, it's just a concept. It's a good idea, and a lot of times, a good idea, that will spawn something else, that will end up being huge for the Switch, kind of like that flip grip. So keep an eye out on this thing. It's called the Joy Boy, and be careful what you search for. And maybe we'll help out big time the Virtual Console when some version of it comes out later this year on the Switch.
Yep. Oh, and just so you know, you were right about if you search for Joy Boy, you're going to get a lot of things that aren't related to video game hardware. Yeah. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of tested that out. Okay. So switching back over to me. So now we have something interesting coming out. Something else coming out of the Sega world, and we actually have Puma, best known for their fashion and more importantly their sneakers. Right?
Oh yes.
their footwear. Puma is actually teaming up with Sega to create a pair of Sonic the Hedgehog trainers.
Really?
Yes. So they're calling them, if you know Puma, when they do collaborations, it's always like Puma X, whatever. So it's like Puma times Sega, whatever. In this case, it's Puma times Sega RSO Sonic.
Sure.
So the Sonic shoes, if you haven't figured them out, they would be blue, but the upper textured suede will represent Sonic's fur, while the checkered outsole is inspired by the roads Sonic runs on.
Oh wow!
So if you look at some of the designs, it actually looks like, if you know the famous green zone from the original Sonic game, the first game, first level of the first game, you can actually see like the bottom of the shoe. Kind of resembles that, and then the top of the shoe, of course, is the blue Sonic fur. So
that's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's actually pulled right out of the game. It looks really awesome. Now, will I ever wear that? No. But interesting collector's items for people who collect shoes and love video games. It's a nice little thing to have. Or for people who want to wear them, maybe they will make you run faster. Who knows?
That'd be awesome. Imagine just pew pew pew. Forget about it. Imagine it. Wait till the Tails shoes comes out.
Oh yeah, then you'll be able to fly.
Well, I can
with your butt up in the air.
Weird. Joy Boy. So that's cool. Looking forward to that. Any release date?
Oh no, okay. I did not look at the release date. Damn it.
It's okay.
Oopsie.
Put you on the spot.
Thanks.
Always here to help. I got some news here that I'm quite excited about, that the game Baby Pac-Man is coming to the Atari 7800.
All right.
Now,
Hello, 1982.
Absolutely. Now, you may ask yourself, why port a game that is over 30 years old to a system that may almost be over 40 years old, or definitely over 35 years old, especially when the game is a hybrid video pinball game? So
that's a bit strange.
That's where the trouble lies. But even if it was just the video game version of it, I'm still sold, because Baby Pac-Man I thought was one of the best underrated Pac-Man games, besides Miz and the original. If you don't know what it is, Baby Pac-Man, the only place I ever remember playing Baby Pac-Man was at Chuck E. Cheese over at Caesars Bay. I know we're getting local.
Of course.
But over in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. Baby Pac-Man basically started, you had a screen, and you would play Pac-Man, a variant of it. And then there were 2 chutes on the bottom of the screen. You go down one of those chutes, now you're playing a physical arcade game. And, a physical pinball game.
Pinball game, yeah.
Yep. And the pinball machine is the board's probably, half the size of a normal pinball, maybe even a third of the size?
Yeah, about that.
It's tiny. But the idea of the pinball version is that is where you earn power pellets, that is where you earn fruits, and those are your power-ups. So when you start the game, there's no power pellets on the board. You go down to the pinball game, and that's where you earn the pellets. Then when you go back up to the video screen, then you just continue playing. I always loved that concept. I don't ever remember another game like it. I'm sure there were ones out there, but I can't think of any that were that hybrid.
No, I feel like this was kind of a one of a kind thing. I don't recall any other one that looked like this, and I remember seeing this when I was a kid too, and it was just so interesting. Mm-hmm. I want to say the Video Game Hall of Fame in Las Vegas has it. I'll look next time I go.
I feel like you meant when you did your live feed from there. I could have sworn it was there.
Well, I remember they had a mini pinball machine, but it was a Super Mario.
Yes, that is true.
But I gotta next time I go over, I'll take a look specifically for Baby Pac-Man. If I do, I'll pop some quarters into it and play.
Absolutely. Now on the Atari 7800, yes, this is one of those love of homebrews, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, very cool. There's been a lot of good recent games released on the Atari 7800, and yes, as much as you would lose a lot of that physical factor of playing a pinball game, an actual pinball machine. There's been a lot of good pinball games on home systems. So I think they'd be able to get away with a good comparison, or translation, I guess, more from the physical to the digital.
Yeah. Oh, and Larry, just to answer something that you brought up before, if you watch the teaser video for this, because there is a teaser video for it, it does have the pinball machine portion of the game.
Oh, yeah. Just like a digital copy of it.
You're just playing it digitally.
Which is still, we'll take it. It's still cool. And,
it's pretty damn good.
On the Atari 7800, it's just, it's weird. But it's definitely cool. If you ever find the actual machine, go check it out. But if you can get your hands on this bad boy, and it's from Atari Age, who have put out a bunch of homebrews recently and ports of games to the Atari 7800. Definitely check it out when you get a chance. 1982, 7,000 units sold of produced a Baby Pac-Man, short production, but it really lasted a long time, and a game I always wished came to the home console, and it's going to pretty soon.
Nice. All right, cool. We're gonna circle back to me for I think the last bit of news that we have today. Actually, there were two bits of news. Because there's one that I forgot to send you information on.
Sure.
What do you got? I'm cool. I'm cool that way. So the first one that I want to bring up, it's also in the Sega world, but there is a new game coming out that is based off of a very well-known, well-liked Sega franchise. And some people know about this because it was a Kickstarter campaign that happened all the way back in March of 2015 that raised over $500,000.
Wow.
Yep. So, and the game has changed in scope. It moved to consoles as well as getting an original PC version. So this is gonna be available in a lot of ways. And not only that, Adult Swim Games came on as a publisher for this.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So coming out this fall is going to be the apparently much anticipated Toe Jam and Earl sequel. And we're talking about now we know the original Toe Jam and Earl was amazing on Genesis, and then they had the sequel. Was it Panic on Funkatron or Funkatown?
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Funkatron, I believe, which was their planet. But now we're getting a game called Toe Jam and Earl Back in the Groove. It is coming out this fall. They do not have let me see if I have an official release date for it. I don't have an official release date for it. All I have is that it will be coming out in the fall of this year, which is awesome.
We actually have a friend of mine who's a fan of the podcast, of the Retro Gamers. A friend of mine, Mario, is a huge Toe Jam and Earl fan. One of the biggest fans I know of the series, and I was never into Toe Jam and Earl, so I know he's always trying to sell me on it. I may have to give it a shot, especially with this third game coming out.
Which yeah, I mean, I love the first Toe Jam and Earl. I still go back and play that every once in a while because it's just hysterical. The guys are just so weird looking, and just the game itself is awesome. So any Toe Jam and Earl fans out there, be prepared for a new game coming this fall.
Cool.
Now, the last bit of information is actually something that I texted you a link to earlier today. I forgot about it up until this moment, but I wanted to bring it up because it is retro video game related.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah.
Yep. And it's Funko. Now, Funko, we all know, is famous for their Funko Pop figures, right? Mm-hmm. Funko is branching out. And they're branching out into an interesting genre, per se, or just an interesting thing. Funko will begin releasing cereal boxes starting this month in July.
Yeah, this is cool.
This is really cool. And there are, I believe, 6 different cereal boxes coming out. I'm just going to rattle through them. Not all of them are video game related, but one of them is. So there are 6 boxes coming out. 2 of them are horror movie related. So there will be a Jason Voorhees Funko cereal. Freddy Krueger is getting a Funko cereal. And then we move on to Gollum from Lord of the Rings. He's getting his own precious Funko cereal. A character called, what is it? Is it Jerry?
Sure.
I don't know the I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the character's name is. I think it's Jerry. I don't know who he is. He's a little kid with a crown on his head.
Oh, Freddy.
Freddy.
It's the Funko logo, if it's who I'm thinking of.
Okay, so so Funko Freddy is getting his own cereal, of course. Go. And now on to the video game related one. So there's going to be a Funko cereal based on Cuphead and Mugman.
That's
the
cool.
Famous Cuphead game, which sounds really cool.
Great game.
And the one that I'm most excited about, and I'm sure you are as well, the Mega Man Funko cereal.
Yes, that is really cool. You know, these boxes, they look like something that would have been sold back then. Like back in the day.
Yeah, they have a very retro look to them.
Yep.
And then on top of it, it's actual cereal. So you're buying cereal.
So it is real cereal.
Yeah, it's actual. To my understanding, it's cereal. I don't know. We'll find out when it comes out. But inside, because the way the boxes look, they look like real cereal, and inside each box you get a pop figure of the character.
That's cool. I wonder if it's like already mixed in with the food. You know, you have to dump it all out.
So, I have no idea. So it's collectible. Yeah, I mean, it says the line will consist of 6 unique, brightly colored cereals.
Yes, and from the looks of it, actually, depending on which one you want, depends on where you can find it.
That's correct. So The Mega Man one specifically, which I'm interested in, along with the horror movie ones. So, like, if you want the Mega Man cereal, it's available. It's going to be at GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
If you want Cuphead, you have to go to Hot Topic.
Okay.
If you want Freddy, Funko Freddy, he's going to be available through Funko.
Okay.
Freddy Krueger and Jason from Friday the 13th, you have to go to an FYE. Good luck finding one.
I was just going to say that.
And I believe I still have one somewhere near me.
Yeah.
And then if you want the Gollum one, it's available at Box Lunch.
Yeah, Box Lunch is a pretty cool website.
And apparently these aren't the only cereals. There are actually going to be more cereals added throughout the year, including the following characters: Pennywise from Stephen King's It. Huckleberry Hound. Batgirl.
Oh.
Cthulhu, which I definitely want. And last but not least, Beetlejuice.
Oh, that one. I got to get that one.
Yes. So there are more coming out. I'm assuming these are going to be a big hit. So if you can get your hands on one of these Funko cereals, shoot us a message on Facebook. Let us know about it. We're definitely going to be on the lookout for these. I definitely want the Mega Man one. I want I want Freddy, Jason, and Gollum. Those just need to be owned.
Absolutely. Well, that's pretty cool. Definitely be on the lookout for them. Like Ant said, let us know about it. Hit us up on the Facebook page. Hit us up on the Instagram page. And let us know what flavors those could even be like.
Yeah. I don't even want to know. I mean, I'm assuming by the colors, they're going to be those flavors. So if you can tell me what green is, because all I'm thinking about is snot, which isn't good.
I'm afraid about the horror ones. Because those are red.
Yeah. Works for me. You know what? They're going to taste like iron.
Oh, jeez.
All right, Larry, it is time for this week's Wacky Retro game. We haven't had a Wacky Retro game in a while.
Yeah, Wacky Retro. So, all right.
Yes, and I've got a doozy of a Wacky Retro game that I have uncovered. It is a game. When I go back to Japan, I will specifically be asking for this game as soon as I walk into Super Potato.
I want this.
Yes. So this game is called Time Twist on the Outskirts of History. Ooh. It is a text-based adventure game. It was the last game released on the Famicom disk system.
Really?
And let me tell you something. What a way to go out. Okay?
Okay.
So listen to the concept of this game. Okay? The hero of the game takes a TV fortune teller's advice and heads off to the Devil Museum for a fun Sunday activity where he tries to use a magic spell to seduce a girl. However, instead of seducing the girl, he accidentally frees the devil.
Oh,
because it turns out the fortune teller was possessed. Now, what happens is the devil swaps bodies with you and travels back in time, and you are forced to follow him to stop his evil schemes. So, what are part of the devil's evil schemes, you might wonder? So, for example, after hijacking a peasant named Pierre, you travel back in time and hijack this peasant, and you get him blackout drunk to go rescue Joan of Arc, who's been possessed by the devil.
Okay.
After you do that, you travel to 1940s Germany. And hop into the body of a prisoner trying to escape a Nazi concentration camp that leads you to battle Hitler.
Oh, jeez. Here comes the SS.
Yes, we're not. Oh, here they come. They're coming to get me. They heard me. And if that's not bad enough, after you successfully battle Hitler, you travel to the American Civil War and hop into the body of a slave boy named George who gets lynched by the KKK.
Oh, good lord.
And you battle them.
Boy, this is a good thing this is all text-based.
Right? We're not done there. The last chapter of the game sees you hopping into a donkey owned by Joseph and Mary at the birth of Jesus.
No.
You witness the birth of Jesus, and then you have to defeat the baby Jesus who has been possessed by the devil to avoid a nuclear apocalypse.
God! There is just all sorts of wrong with this.
Yes. This is why I must own it.
Oh my God.
So, Time Twist on the Outskirts of History, a game where you not only battle Hitler, but he's not the end boss of the game.
No.
The end boss of the game is a possessed baby Jesus.
Oh.
Everyone should know about this game.
You know what? There really is no one else to fight once you get to that, possessed baby Jesus. Good God.
Well, not only that, but you're fighting the possessed baby Jesus as a donkey.
Donkey.
Oh, man, I would love for Eddie Murphy to voice this.
Oh, jeez.
All right, so anyway, Time Twist on the Outskirts of History. That is this week's Wacky Retro Game.
All right, we're going to steer this one into port now. Get ready to dock. We're going to throw the anchor. We're going to lower the sails.
When you say you're going to throw the anchor, is it a Virtual Boy?
It's got that design to it.
That's the only anchor I think of.
No, the anchor from Super Mario Brothers 3. Hello.
No, I'm thinking of the anchor on Nintendo's history.
Oh, ouch. Oh, that dug deep. Holy cow.
Damn right it did. Hashtag VB sucks.
Yes, how many weeks? What episode? We got to figure out what episode that started on.
I have no idea what episode that started on, but it's never going to end.
Speaking of which, as we approach, we're only a couple weeks away now from episode 100.
Yeah, I know. We old.
Oh, please. I definitely feel it.
Are they putting us out to pasture?
I hope not, especially since I'm the one that keeps posting everything. So,
all right, so we're doomed.
And we thank, for sticking along with us. We're going to have a really, really fun 100th episode. Things are going to be happening, all good stuff. So stay tuned. Check us out. Of course, on the Facebook page, facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast. The Instagram @the_RetroGamers. And Ant, I think we have a website somewhere too.
TheRetroGamers.com. It's currently under construction, so don't go there.
Fine. Okay, never mind. Screw that website.
That's right.
So check us out, and we're going to be moving along. Are you in the States for a while now?
Yeah, I'm sticking around for a bit.
Okay, good. We got some things happening as the years go on. And as the sands through the hourglass, these are the days of our lives. I want to mention now, coming up in a few weeks, the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo. What is up with that? What are you, like in a landing area now?
No, I think I'm in a bunker.
I've never heard so many planes fly over your house.
Well, I've never recorded in the location I'm currently in, and it picks up more sound. What can I tell you?
Someone's gonna go get egg crates.
Yes.
Long Island Retro Gaming Expo. Check it out. liretro.com. Actually, expo.liretro.com. Go get your tickets. Some combination of the retro gamers will be there walking around, live streaming and stuff like that. It's going to be a good time. Of course, in November, we will be recording as I head west to Los Angeles. If you head east,
it's going to take you a very long time.
As I will be now flying out, and me and Anthony will do a live show. Well, by live meaning we'll be in the same room, but we'll be in Los Angeles. So check that out. That's going to be really fun. And other than that, just trucking along with this whole thing.
Yeah, no, it's been fun recording almost 100 episodes with you. Technically over 100 if you count our specials.
Technically.
So, yeah, technically, but it's been a fun ride, and I'm looking forward to the next. God knows how many we're going to do.
Hopefully, a lot more.
Yeah, I hope so. As long as there are video games will eventually become retro. So we will always be current.
I like that. I love it.
Can you follow that?
Yeah, absolutely. So check us out.
As long as there's a past, we'll always be present.
Even
for
better.
now and the future.
Even better. Just keep adding to it. I love it.
I will.
Proverb after proverb.
Exactly.
Check us out. Thank you for checking us every week. And if you want to check out a couple other shows here on the network, check out the Better Half podcast. Check out the Yin and the Yang podcast. Both very fun shows. And with that, we're going to wrap it up. Ant, enjoy the 4th. Watch your fingers. Be safe.
Why? What's going on with my fingers?
Fireworks.
I'm not. I don't do fireworks. They're illegal.
Are they illegal in California? Because who knows? It depends on what state you're in.
I don't know. I hear fireworks outside right now, and it's the 3rd.
Well, you're in California, so you got to be careful whether or not they're fireworks.
That's a good point.
I'm on
Speaking
Long
of,
Island.
I need to go in my house and lock the door.
Aw. So, but check us out right here next week on the Retro Gamers.